I'm back on Up to Speed. This is a tuner car from 2010, and this is a tuner car from 2020. Wider. What happened? Well, Rocket Bunny happened. That's what happened. Rocket Bunny.
Bounce with Rocket Bunny.
2 words, Rocket Bunny.
It just looks crazy. People shoot me videos and like, hey, this is your car from the back. I'm like, damn, that looks badass.
Rocket, 2 words, Rocket Bunny.
Rocket Bunny.
Rocket Bunny.
ロケットバニーは
Rocket Bunny.
So, what is Rocket Bunny? Where did it come from? And why did it make such a huge impact? Well, that's what I've spent the last 2 months trying to figure out. I talked to a few of the guys really close to it. I talked with Miura-san himself. It's been far too long and I've missed you guys a ton. I've missed this freaking stool. I missed whatever is going on back here. This is everything you need to know to get up to speed on Rocket Bunny! We back, bitch! Big thanks to CarParts.com for sponsoring this monumental rocket-fueled season premiere of Up to Speed. And because this is such a huge episode, we wanted to get a special sponsor like our friends at CarParts.com. Clumsy Carl, what are you doing? Toot toot, collision alert! Ah! It's okay, cousin, you had a spider on your car. I think it was a brown recluse. I got it, don't worry. Now, we all have a friend who always finds some way to break something on your car. For us, it's our new intern, my cousin, Clumsy Carl. And with a friend like Clumsy Carl, replacement parts can really add up. That's why I trust CarParts.com. It's okay, it's just a whopper. They're your one-stop shop for collision, repair, and maintenance parts. Who says that you have to sacrifice quality for reasonable prices? They're a smart and easy way to get what you want whenever you want, no matter what you drive. So if you need a new headlight or side mirror or side trim or grille, or what about bumper? Why would I need a new oops, sorry. Even if you need a new bumper, CarParts.com has you covered. Get your car running great today. Go to CarParts.com. And now, back to the show. Hey, you almost done? You told Meemaw you'd take me to Harry Potter. I've been wanting to make this video for a while. The first time that I saw a Rocket Bunny car, it was in a Speed Hunters article and they were profiling Miura-san's shop, and there was this white S13 Sylvia parked out front. It had 4 6s on the side and Goodyear stickers all over it. Those stickers, paired with the boxy fenders and tiny duckbill spoiler on the back, somehow made one of the most Japanese cars look like a frickin' NASCAR. I loved it.
I've always liked NASCAR and cars from the 80s. I didn't intend for the kit to look like those cars, it just kind of happened. It wasn't initially accepted in the Japanese market, but the Americans loved it.
Whether you're a fan of Rocket Bunny or not, you cannot deny its impact on car culture. How? We begin our journey where every great story starts, a bypass highway toll road. This is the Conjo Loop. It's the outer belt of the Hanshin Highway that surrounds the city of Osaka, Japan. And it's right up there with the Autobahn for places to drive stupid fast, except, unlike the Autobahn, stupid fast on the loop is very, very illegal. And I just want to say, for a country that's given us a lot of cool cars and underpants from a vending machine, Japan is pretty stringent. So naturally, the Conjo Loop was the home turf of a particular set of car guys, the Bosuzoku.
The Bosuzoku. The Bosuzoku. The Bosuzoku.
These guys were a loose collection of clubs. They wore coveralls, they had bright dyed hair. It's like if the Hells Angels were like very, very, very Japanese. And in the words of the Bosuzoku, they were rebelling against a culture that rewarded moderation and restraint. They were trying to be loud. They wanted to make a scene. I can relate. Now that might explain why they drove cars like this, and this, and this one. And right in the middle of this was a guy named Kei Muira. Big, blonde, perm and all.
He comes from a background of the old school street racing scene where everything's super slammed, everything is wild. The old school JDM street racer, Osozoku kind of style. Osozoku kind of style. Osozoku kind of style. Osozoku kind of style.
He'd skipped the toll on the Conjo Loop by sneaking through the gate behind other cars. He took off his license plate and wore a freaking Jason Voorhees mask to keep from getting caught on camera. You know, regular stuff you do when you're obeying the law. But in 1988, this punk would start down a path to automotive greatness. Miura-san had just turned 18 and was driving down the street in Kyoto when suddenly something caught his eye.
That time I was on a truck at a transporter, and when I passed through a nearby car shop, there was a cool Datsun, and I wanted it.
Hey man, I'd like to buy that Sunny. No. I mean, what's the deal, man? Is it not for sale? Not for you. You're a punk. What the f? Look at your hair. You're obviously up to no good.
And the owner, Miura-san, calls him crazy guy.
Crazy man, no.
He's so crazy.
Get out of my store! Kai was, how should I put this? Not pleased. Man, f this shit, man. But he's not the kind of guy to give up very easily. I got a plan.
I cut my hair and dyed it black, and went back to the store the next day.
All right, man, fix my hair. I hope it pleases you. I don't look like I'm up to no good anymore. Let me buy the car, please. Here's my money. What car? Dude, I'm freaking... The Sunny. Oh, yeah, Sunny. Sorry, kid. That guy just bought it. What the f? I was gonna drive that around the Conjo Loop. This
What, man? Kyusha! Used car, but I want to sound like the old car.
Hey, kid. I like your attitude. I like your spunk. Can you drive? Like, really drive? Yeah, I can drive, man! I might have something in the back. So the owner showed Kai a Nissan 510 that he had parked in the back instead.
I decided to buy it for 500,000 yen. The car was delivered 2 weeks later and I was told to bring a helmet and gloves. I was taken to the circuit on the day of delivery. My mentor is a crazy stranger who suddenly took me to the race.
Now this guy realized that Kai was a certified car maniac, so obviously he put him to work making parts for Disneyland. That's right, the happiest place on earth was being supplied by a bunch of hooligans. Kai learned how to design using CAD while making rides and attractions for Disneyland Tokyo. Now, apparently he played a big part in the design of a ride or attraction called Cinderella's Window, but I couldn't find it anywhere on the internet. Now, he continued to work in the shop, honing his skills with fiberglass. In his off time, he put that knowledge to use, fabricating aero pieces for his car. And it wasn't long until someone asked him to make aero parts for their car. Now, Kai didn't know it, but those parts were installed on a Ferrari Dino race car. Not bad for a kid who's like 20 years old. When I was 20 years old, I slept on the porch of a comedy club twice because the train shut down and I couldn't ride back to Long Beach. So basically, we're pretty much the same. Kai was doing great, but the good times were about to hit a speed bump, which is extra bad when your whole thing's building really low cars.
I was 22 at the time, but I was caught too often by the police and was brought to trial. I got my license revoked for 8 years and didn't drive on my own from the age of 22 until 30.
So, it would be years before Kei Muira could design and drive cars at the same time. He was like 30. It was a tragic love story. Once he could be united with his love of driving and making stuff, Kai set out to make his own way, to be his own man. It was time for liftoff! So that is how he got into making parts. But why these parts? What made him want to make huge flares and slam cars like so many doors shut by my father? The Japanese car scene was about to experience a reset, a renaissance, okay? In the early 80s, deaths from car crashes were on the rise, and fairly or unfairly, Bosozoku took the blame. This led to one of the most fateful moments in car history. The famous Japanese auto manufacturer,
Gentlemen's agreement.
Gentlemen, thank you for coming. As you know, car crash accidents are on the rise. It seems as if these people can't get enough of killing each other with our cars. Because of this, the government is threatening us with regulations. Huh? Regulations? What is it? Regulation? Hell no! No! No, no, no! I think I speak for everyone when I say that regulations are the worst thing that can happen to anyone ever. We know. Yes, we know. But we've found a solution. We propose an agreement. None of us will make any cars with more than 276 horsepower. The f are you talking about? I just want to say, I think it's really nice that you guys invited me. Gentlemen, please, if we voluntarily cap our horsepower ourselves, then we won't have to worry about the government doing it. But then how the f are we gonna make sports cars? Yeah, well here at Honda, we're gonna focus on handling and weight. Seriously, you guys, this is like the best day of my life. All right, listen, because this is the most important part. We're gonna make our engines extremely sturdy. That way, all these gearheads out there, can tune their cars to make as much power as they want. More power? More power, baby. Okay, more power, baby. 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 Okay, settle. And if anyone complains, how are we supposed to know they were gonna do that? Exactly. We just sold them a car with 276 horsepower. A focus on quality and efficiency. Genius. Hey, we're all gonna break this rule all the time, right? Oh yeah, totally. All right, now let's go bet on some guys fighting in a parking garage. That agreement, designed to limit car crashes, is in many ways why cars from Japan are so sought after today. It's why tuning exploded in Japan, and with tuning came a number of different subcultures. Kai was influenced by all of them, but 3 in particular stood out. The Conjo scene was all about taking regular consumer cars and turning them into rockets. Windows, too heavy. How about nets? Back seats, how about just nothing? Got a dent? Leave it. You got a Jason mask? No? Freaking get one. Miura-san was influenced by the Bosuzoku style and also the ethos on the Conjo that whatever you are driving can be awesome if you put enough work into it. That's why he makes kits for not only high-end sports cars, but also things that regular people can afford. Now, while drifting in Japan was slightly more organized than the Conjo scene, it was still home to punks and misfits and scallywags. Kei Muira's people. The cars had style, they had flair, but they were also functional. Kai's first car ever just so happened to be a Toyota AE86, one of the most legendary drift cars of all time.
My first car was the 86, which was just the time for the Bosuzoku to turn into street racers. Since I lived in Kyoto, I went to Togei Road in Kyoto, but there were too many cars lined up from the top to the bottom. So at that time, I often went to Nara, Osaka, or Okoka. The number of people was too large and the police could not crack down.
And finally, another Japanese car scene that influenced Miura-san is a little bit more abstract, but he says that it was the most influential on him. It was the Kyusha. It was the Kyusha. It was the Kyusha scene. I know that I'm probably mispronouncing that. I'm talking about the Kyusha scene.
I'm talking about that Kyusha scene, yeah.
Kyusha translates to old car, and it really just means you like old cars. Specific subcultures aside, Miura was just like a fashion mogul. He saw styles from the past that he liked and brought them back to life.
He gets a lot of his inspiration from race cars, basically. Time attack cars, Pikes Peak, hill climb cars, he loves that stuff. Group B stuff, he loves race cars.
Over fenders, big wings, wide bodies. These are all things that were on old race cars. He didn't invent over fenders. That's 70s Trans Am, baby. Big wings. Look at, Can-Am and a number of other racing circuits.
Wide bodies.
That's old school DTM. The parts tried to convey a sense of power and performance from a bygone era. And if you subscribe to Donut, congrats. You're a Kyusha head.
I'm talking about that Kyusha scene, yeah.
You didn't even know it. This dude just thought, man, I wish that these current cars looked more like these old cars that I love. And then he put together some plastic and made it happen.
全般的に
The cars of the 70s and 80s have a cool shape, and the style is different from the current cars. I don't know why I like it, but I tend to convert new cars into old styles.
Now, don't go looking for a Rocket Bunny corporate headquarters in some sleepy industrial park because you won't find one. In fact, there is no Rocket Bunny building because it's not really a company at all. Kei Muira manufactures the body kits at his shop, Tops Racing Arts in Kyoto, and he has since 1995. His website also looks like it's from 1995. TRA Kyoto is less of your typical garage and more of a mixed up menagerie of motorsports and old technology. Knickknacks are strewn about the space, ready to impart inspiration on Kei at any given moment. Let's just say, if you're OCD, don't go there, you'll puke. Personally, I love it. Today's Rocket Bunny kits are named after a parts line that Kei developed in the 1990s for K-Van, and the name was just too cool to not use again. Inside TRA Kyoto is where the magic frickin' happens. That's where Kei Muira designs the Rocket Bunny kits, which also goes by Pandem here in the States because of copyright issues. He also has a wheel company called 46 Customs, whose two-piece mesh design was crafted to complement any of Kei's body kits. 46 also was the name of his old drift crew.
The 4.6 is the wheels that he came out with collaboration with Enki. So it was the Rocket Bunny 666, or we just call it the 4.6. That's the wheel line that he launched back then.
That story seems simple enough, but like everything with Kei Muira, where that name comes from comes with a dope backstory, sometimes multiple ones.
When they started drifting with his crew,
666.
they just haul ass, do all sorts of stupid shit. Because you're a novice and you're going out there and you're doing stupid things. So that's what happens. You see accidents. People hit cars, rails, pop tires. So he changed 666 to
6666. Because
he got scared. He was like, accidents. So we're gonna change the name.
Chapter 4, The Legend of Muira. Kei's inspirations may have come from the Japanese underground and motorsports all over the world, but like Miura-san said, the scene in Japan just wasn't super stoked on his unique wide-body style. But it wasn't until his designs got to the States that it really got big. Think Tim Hortons or Democracy. So I just want to be clear here. All right, Miura-san had been making Rocket Bunny kits for a hot second. S13 kits and previous stuff was already being imported to the States. But when he changed the world was when he released the kit for the newly debuted Scion FRS, Subaru BRZ, Toyota 86. He changed the world.
And I think the community really accepted it really well. Taking brand new car and cutting up the fenders and the quarter panels. And from that launch, I think everybody was really, they all fell in love with the styling and it really blew up.
When the FRS came, I'm just like, oh, so that's Rocket Bunny. That's crazy. So S13 for sure, what kind of broke the ice. And then what really just went nuclear is the FRS, and it just snowballed from there.
The FRS kit debuted at SEMA, the largest aftermarket car convention in the world, and it made a huge splash. These days, Kei Muira's influence is all over SEMA, but it's not just his designs. It's the process that allows him to do those designs.
Usually, when body kits are made, they shape it and form it on the existing car and start shaping it, and they have to make a plug off of that. But the way he designs it is just everything's drawn on his computer screen and sends that data and gets CNC machine for the first sample.
He starts with a laser scan of the entire car. It's important to him that his kits highlight what's best about the car rather than hide it. So making sure he has all the factory details right is very important. And one thing that everyone says about his kits is they fit very, very well. Then he starts to play.
the way he designs. He's so good at that. I mean, he's been doing it for a while, just drawing the actual wide body kits on the car, spinning it on the computer screen and just click, 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 click.
どうやってデザインするか
I bought a Mac for about 1 million yen when I designed rides for Disneyland. Since then, I've been using CAD for 30 years since I was about 20 years old. I don't think there are many people in the world who have been using CAD for 30 years.
What's maybe most impressive is that all of this stuff is 100% self-taught. The dude is a full-on nerd. He's just like us. He figures out a thing he wants to know how to do, then he looks it up on YouTube or whatever the 90s equivalent of YouTube was. Books? I don't know. When he has all the details correct, he can upload the data to a multi-axis carving machine, which uses it to make a mold of the part out of polystyrene. And once the mold is formed, it's filled with fiber reinforced polymer resin and left to harden. When it does, the polystyrene is removed. You're left with a beautiful body part and what looks like a bunch of packing peanuts. Because of this process, where most manufacturers can take months, TRA Kyoto can go from concept to part in just a couple of weeks.
You know, that's what kind of makes these kits more affordable, because he doesn't hand mold things. It's all computerized. It's kind of why they also fit really well.
And that perfect fit is what every Rocket Bunny owner will mention. And that and the fact that they look best on very, very low cars, because Japanese roads are way nicer than ours and it's easier to drive over there. But these days, despite the less than ideal road conditions over here, US buyers are hungry for Kei's kits, inspiring him to fab up must-have stuff for pretty much every cool car you can think of. And some of them are just straight up bizarre, but like sick bizarre. For instance, we got the Boss kit, which transforms Nissan S14s and FD Mazda RX-7s into weird alternate universe Japanese muscle cars. Instead of just replacing bumpers and cutting fenders, the Boss kit requires you to remove the whole front of your car and replace it with a face that would look more at home in a 70s Mopar. The bulging hood completes the look. It's controversial, I'll admit it. Guess what? Freaking love it. Another controversial kit would be the one he made for the Acura NSX. It's not the most radical by Kei Muira standards. The opposite, it's very subtle almost. And the NSX isn't the only mid-engine car that he's worked on. Porsche Cayman and the brand spanking new Corvette C8 have also been blessed, and they both look amazing. Just more proof that everything from a Nissan GTR to a Toyota Yaris can be Rocket Bunnied. Verb. Kei Muira is one of those guys that I'm truly jealous of, all right? He's blessed with this gift of being completely carefree, or at least coming off in that way. He does things his own way, and if you don't like it, so what? He's still gonna be making his stuff, and other people are still gonna like it. In that respect, he's a real artist, and his canvas is a car, and his brushes are bits cutting into polystyrene and keyboards. His work gets visceral reactions around the world, and he's not slowing down. Rocket Bunny is for people who, like Muira-san, want to stand out. Life's too short to be boring. Catch some eyes, make a scene, get a freaking Jason mask and cruise. Get fat. I want to thank everybody who helped make this video possible. Grant, our writer, Jesse and Zach, who directed. Follow Donut on Instagram at Donut Media. Follow me at James Pumphrey. Dionne from Toyo Tires. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel, OMG Miata. Kenji from Greddy. So full of knowledge and awesome. Thanks for talking to us. And especially to Kei Muira for taking the time, and even more so making the kits. And thank you again to Muira for sending me that kit, and Dionne for making it all possible. And I really want to thank you guys for sticking around and waiting this out. We needed to light some fires under our butts. This is a bigger episode. Let us know if you like these bigger videos. Let us know what big up to speeds you want to see. I miss you guys. I love you very much.